jolly good.
Let's get this over with. Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clank Zoka. Welcome to another My Thoughts On. Again. Excuse me. And today I'm going to be doing the day after tomorrow. Not the day before tomorrow. The day after tomorrow. Seriously, why is it called that? What does the film have to do with the day of? Never mind. This is another disaster film directed by Roland Emmerich, who I also did a My Thoughts On for his 2012 film, but his 29 film, 2012, which if you've seen that, I didn't really like it that much. It was just boring, dull, generic, and just messy in all the wrong ways. But before all that, he directed the 2004, again, disaster, thriller, action, adventure, sci-fi film, goes by the name of, well, The Day After Tomorrow. Ooh. Which is basically kind of like the same film, only instead of a big flood, it's a flood mixed with ice and snow. And it could probably freeze the world. I don't really know that much about this film, other than that it's just another disaster film that's basically just the same, really. You've got a protagonist, you've got the love interest, you've got people who don't trust or believe in the idea. Let's just get this over with. So, in The Day After Tomorrow, there is this scientist named Jack Hall, played by Dennis Quaid, who believes that there is going to be a flood and other disastrous storm habits like giant hail and ice and snow. And his son, Sam Whitehall, played by a very young and pre Spider-Man Far From Home Jake Gyllenhaal, who's gone to New York on a school trip, I think. I don't know, the film didn't really make it that clear, really. And he's there with Emily Ronson and this other guy as well, and they're studying something, I don't know. And then, what do you know? Weather hits, they're trapped there. Dennis Quaid has to go there and rescue his son, while warning everyone else that something is coming and they should do something about it. And then you got the politicians, you got the president saying, "Oh, I don't believe him," and then you got the wives on the phone saying, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be okay, I promise. I'm gonna go and get our son back." And then the son is with a girl. Gee, I wonder what's gonna happen with both of them. I wonder. They end up in a library for most of the time, and then people start to debate whether they should stay inside or go and look for more places to stay. And then, I thought 2012 was a messy and just a very dull and all over the place film. But I think the plot for this film is 10 times worse. This has every disaster action well, not really comedy, but action thriller cliche. The main character is always angry. He's like the beardy late guy. Also, I'm fucking sick of the whole main character is always late. Why is that always a thing? We don't care he's late. We want to know more about him, not just, oh, he's late for work and his boss doesn't like him. God. Doesn't make it better that it's a very painfully predictable film that you know exactly what's going to happen. He's going to rescue his son and everyone else is going to be okay. Happy end, I suppose. I'll give the plot a few good things. There are a few scenes that I thought was very intense and quite suspenseful. The scene where the people in New York actually head into the library, and when the flood the flood, when it gets closer and closer and closer, I thought that's actually quite intense. And if I was there, I would have been shitting myself. I'll be very honest. And then there's a couple of genuine emotional scenes, especially with Dr. Lucy Hall, who's played by Celia Ward, who's this doctor, and she's with this patient. And there was one scene that I thought that felt genuine, felt emotional. Well, not really. I didn't cry about it. I didn't cry at it, but I felt it in a way. And that's it. There's comedy, but the comedy is just, main character just goes smirks, just does a chuckle. It's not really a comedy film, but the comedy is just there for the sake of, because it's a film that needs to lighten up, I suppose. And then there's this, I think, homeless guy with the dog who's, I guess, the comic relief, but there's too much going on, and that's the problem I had with 2012. There's too much going on. You got a scene where you see what happens in China, what happens in England when the flood comes. This is also what happened in Geostorm as well. And I don't know about you, but disaster films just bore the fuck out of me. 2012 I wouldn't say is boring, but at least I got some enjoyment out of it. Geostorm made no sense at all. This, I'd say, is a little more interesting in 2012, which is not saying much, but it was painfully shit. Visually, the film, you can tell, looks like it's from 2004. Also, just because Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Quaid, I mean, look at them. They don't look like that as they do now. The effects are actually not half bad. Some of them look laughable. Heck, even some of the bits in the film are quite laughable. Maybe for the in an unintentional way. I don't say that often, but it was a very unintentionally funny film. It's like, God. Roland Emmerich, or I keep calling him Emmerich, but it's Emmerich. Is it Emmerich? Roland Emmerich? Whatever. Look, I'm sure you're a nice guy and all, but why the hell do you have to make your films unintentionally funny? I don't understand that at all. I really don't. This film just made me laugh until my knees hurt. Well, not really, but I kind of enjoyed it for how unintentionally shit it is. Anyways, the effects are halfway decent, but at times they can look incredibly fake. Like 2012, a video game. It can look like a video game that I want to play. In fact, if they made a film based... this is a fucking film. A game based on this, I would play it. I would 100% play it. Oh, excuse me. I think it's well shot for the most part, and it has nice cinematography, and it looks pretty enough. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. Characters. What can you say about them? They're one-dimensional tropes. You got the doctor, the old gruff old man that Dennis Quaid is playing. He reminded me too much of Harrison Ford. He's always angry and always like, what's going on? Where are you, son? And all that. If the character of Jack Hall was played, I almost said White. Every time I say Jack Hall, I keep thinking Jack Whitehall. Honestly, if he played Jack Hall, I think I would have liked the film a little more. But seriously, if he was played by Harrison Ford, I don't think it would make the slightest difference. There was not one character in the film I liked at all. I thought they were all generic, just boring. Really, you got the love interest, you got Jake Gyllenhaal being the son, the cocky son, you got the black nerd, not Andre the Black Nerd, no, a different black nerd. You got the guy who Jake thinks is going to hit on oh fuck, what's her name again? Emily Rossum. On Emily Rossum, that's it. And everyone else just either plays a small part or they just play a rather major role, like the homeless guy. You got Jack Hall's wife. You got the policeman. You got all these characters that are there to quickly die or freeze. I don't know what I said froze for. But yeah, no, there was not one character I liked at all. The acting, honestly, is just, well, how do I put this? The acting's not as good as 2012, but it's passable at best. Dennis Quaid is alright. Jake Gyllenhaal is pretty bad in the film, and it's not really his fault. Um, Actually, there was another actor in the film I forgot to mention. Let me find him. Ian Holm, the late Ian Holm, who passed away this year. Sorry, not this year. Last year. Sorry, at the age of 88. He was Bilbo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or for animation fans, he was Chef Skinner in Ratatouille as well. He's actually probably the best part of the film in terms of acting. I thought he was quite good, quite convincing, genuinely quite charming. Everyone else does a good job mostly, but nothing screams amazing or anything like that. But they do passable jobs for the most part. The music's just rather standard and average. And that's all I've got to say for the day after tomorrow. Also, what the hell does the title have to... Never mind. This film is a slight, and I do hint on that word, slight improvement over 2012. That's not saying much. It has the same shitty effects, although it is a little decent looking. The plot is a little more easier to follow, but it's also not that well executed and very unoriginal. The characters are all dull and forgettable and just stereotypes. The acting's passable at best. The music's also just passable. The directing is it's not that funny, even though it's not a comedy at all. When it tries to take itself seriously, it's unintentional. There's only one point where I thought it actually worked, but then the rest was like, don't watch it. If you're a fan of disaster films, you'll probably like it fine, but yeah. Oh god. 2012 and the day after tomorrow. What a fucking load of shit. Alchemist, FightingGunups. Thank you for the requests, but it doesn't mean I'm going to like them. And these two films, I really don't. So I gave 2012 4 out of 10. I'll give this one a 4.2 out of 10. I don't think it's good. Again, not quite bad, but pretty fucking boring. And that's all I've got to say about the day after tomorrow. So yeah, I'm happy to do these requests, but it doesn't mean I'm going to like them. I'm not a person who's just going to agree with what everyone else is saying. Like, if they say, oh, it's good, I'll be going, oh, yeah, mate, I like that too. It's not like that. You're entitled to your own opinion, and if people say, oh, you should enjoy a film, if you want to enjoy it, that's fine. But if you want to say, oh, I don't like this or that, it's fine. Me, I did kind of enjoy this film, but it was fucking boring. So yeah. Next up, we're going to move away from boring shit to hopefully good shit. I mean, good films. So I've bought 2 animated films from Amazon on DVD: Persepolis from 2008 and A Cat in Paris from 2012. And I'll be doing The Miracle Maker as well. So I'll be doing those next, and look out for those. And if you have seen The Day After Tomorrow, what did you think about it? Was it good, bad, decent? Do you want to see it? Let me know below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, are you surprised that I didn't make any bloody COVID jokes over this? Because I remember there was a scene in the film where there was people just piling up on toilet paper, and you were expecting me to make a COVID joke out of that. No. But do keep them rolling. I'll stop.